哈马斯的精神领袖辛瓦尔被杀死了以后，以色列并没有松手，反而加大对加萨的攻击。加萨现在到处都是死亡的气息，他攻击到了难民营，攻击到了好几所联合国的学校，而且对于避难的巴勒斯坦人纵火烧屋，越来越针对性，甚至是联合国的车辆跟学校的避难所，他系统性的希望所有帮助巴勒斯坦的人都必须离开加萨。而在这个过程当中，就出现了我们以下为大家报道的悲剧。19岁的巴勒斯坦男孩夏班，他梦想成为一个医生救人，他认为恐怖主义不是巴勒斯坦人应该追求的路途，他经常安慰他的家人，战争是会结束的。姑姑，你们大家要有信心，这是英国《泰晤士报》特别拿出来的一个报道。但是全世界看着他活活被烧死。
والله كان قدام عيني شعبان بنحرق اظن انت شفت الفيديو كيف بنحرق شعبان كان قدام عيني هو وامي كانوا بنحرقوا قدام عيني.
In a different place, in a different time, Shaban would have had a bright future ahead of him. But Shaban was born in Gaza, where people now measure their futures in hours and days.
Hello, I'm Shaban from Palestine. I'm a student studying computer system engineer. I was displaced from the north to south under the occupation threats.
Shaban was the eldest son. When the war started, he left home in Gaza and built this tent for his family in the grounds of Al-Aqsa Hospital.
他没有想到的是，这里将会是他的葬身之地。
10 days ago, he was injured in an Israeli strike while sleeping in a mosque. Shaban was still recovering when another Israeli airstrike hit the hospital grounds on Sunday night and his tent caught alight. We are about to show you an image from the final moments of his life. With a drip still attached to him, his arms reached out and then went rigid in agony as the fire engulfed him. Shaban was burned alive. His mother, Ala, was also trapped and died next to her son in the inferno.
杀死夏班的以色列是这么说的
There is an element of what we call here in Israel Hollywood. There is a movement of fabrication of these sorts of events. I have seen with my own eyes evidence of this being fabricated, of models being used, of these sorts of stories being created, fabricated, so that it will encourage world outrage.
但是法国 France 24查证之后，第一时间澄清说，不，巴勒斯坦人被烧死的画面不是造假。英国的天空新闻也在同一天报道了夏班的故事。
4 people burnt to death in the most recent attack. The Israeli Defense Forces say they were targeting a Hamas command center. Well, one of those people was this man, 19-year-old Shaban al-Dalu.
在夏班死后第6天，《纽约时报》发了一篇非主新闻的报道。他梦想着逃出加萨，如今全世界看着他被活活烧死。文章的作者比拉尔亲自访问了夏班的家人，写下了他短暂的一生的故事。诚如报道一开始所说，19岁的夏班是他母亲骄傲的儿子。他小时候就已经能背诵完整本《可兰经》。他在大学成绩名列前茅，梦想成为一名医生。但是最重要的是，夏班想要逃离加萨。乐观的夏班透过网络公开了他逃难的家，一个小帐篷。他没有向命运投降。
Shaban continued to study in his tent, but walked for half an hour each day just to get internet access. He set up a GoFundMe page to raise money to take his family to Egypt, to safety.
然而世界却只是眼睁睁地看着他被火焰吞噬致死。纽约时报说，这段影片已成为加萨人民战争恐怖的象征。在国际社会的冷眼旁观下，这些被封锁在狭小土地上的人们无处可逃。
قلت له سامحني يابا والله ما انا قادر اعمل لك حاجه كانت النار انا مشتعله فيها في جسمي في ايدي هنا اليمين وانا بنقذ اولادي الاطفال نايمين انقذت الاطفال وانقذت بنتي لكن كان شعبان في اللحظه هذه النار شايله فيه
والنار مشتعلة فيه، وقفت عاجز، العجز التام. شعبان اليوم عيد ميلاده. شعبان انولد في 16/10/2004. اليوم 16/10/2024. عيد ميلاد شعبان بيحتفل فيه في الجنة. اليوم هو وامه بيحتفل فيه في الجنة.
Are you suggesting that he's not dead?
I know that there were Palestinian actors also showing their outrage.
Yes, but that doesn't mean the video itself is fake.
Ben, look, you must not fall for the Palestinian effort not to look after their own people, but trying to paint us in a bad light.
都是假的。以色列军方高层不坏，只是会把巴勒斯坦人当成肉盾。
Now, for the first time on camera, an Israeli soldier is coming forward with his own account, describing how his infantry unit used 2 Palestinians as human shields.
We told them to enter the building before us. If there are any booby traps, they will explode and not us. My soldiers didn't like that at all, and they refused to do this anymore.
The soldiers decided to take their concerns to their senior commander, telling him they believed they were violating international law.
The commander told this fellow, a simple soldier doesn't need to think about international law.
约旦河西岸的以色列定居者也不坏，只是会烧毁、掠夺巴勒斯坦人即将收成的橄榄树。
Israel is pounding northern Gaza. Its airstrikes described by the UN as relentless, with hundreds of Palestinians injured or killed this weekend. This airstrike flattened an entire block at midnight, leaving more than 80 people dead, though the Israelis dispute that figure and say Hamas was operating here.
In fact, tens of thousands of people are leaving. Benjamin Netanyahu told US Secretary of State Antony Blinken yesterday that Israel is not pursuing a strategy of isolating the north of Gaza, is not telling people that if they don't leave, they're effectively targets, and is not starving people out of these areas, the so-called general's plan. Watching these images today, hard not to conclude that he is just telling the Americans what they want to hear.
英国 BBC 写下下班家人对这世界的控诉：你们看着我们被烧死，你们却保持沉默。国际现实不代表我们需要冷漠，国际的无情不代表我们应该跟随无动于衷。这个世界的历史一直是一群人共同发出怒吼才改变的。
When you look at the photographs and the pictures and the videos that come from there, and you hear the screams of people screaming as the Israeli government burned men, women and children alive. They burned them alive. And the world stands by while 15,000 children are being slaughtered. A child with no head, a child with no head. And the Israeli government say it's a mistake, a mistake. I hope that Benjamin Netanyahu burns in hell the same way them children and their families burned. Where is their soul? Where is the soul of the Israeli people that allows their government to do this to children? Where is their humanity? The Israeli people, the Jewish people, after everything the Jewish people have suffered down over the decades, that they would allow their government to do this to other human beings. Human beings. But in the eyes of Netanyahu and this far-right Israeli government, Palestinians are human beings. But today here, the Irish people say, we recognize Palestine. We recognize that they are human beings, just like every one of us. Shame on Israel. Shame on what they've done, and will never be forgotten.